Hello, everyone. It's November 29th. We are pretty much getting ready to wrap up the year and wrap up the intro to sessions that we had. This one is the final one, and it's Intro to Custom FIT. We've done cruises, we've done lands, we've done groups, we've done the last one was escorted tours. Again, if you haven't looked at that, I'm going to refer a lot back to that session as well. So go back and review it. But custom FIT. Custom FIT is pretty much any one that is going, and it's not a group. People who want for you to plan their trip and not go with a group. Now you can book them on several tours that might be private or might be shared at destination, but they can customize and pick whatever they want. The difference between this one and completely private, like we talked about before with escorted tours, is the price point is going to be significantly lower because it's not all private. Not all the tours, not all the transfers. They're going to take some transportation, like trains, public transportation. They're going to do things on their own. It doesn't have to be a complete tour. For that, there are a few suppliers tour operators that you can reach out to them, or there are some tools that you can do it online. In this specific session, I actually want to show you a few things, how we do it online by yourself, because again, the concept should be, you should know what the concept is, but you book a flight, you book a hotel, you book a couple of tours, and transfers. I want to give you a few tools and to show you what the difference is between all of these tools. So I'm going to start and share my screen, and I am going to look at Europe Express, which we talked about it before, but let me just find the right window and share. Just 1 second. Okay. So hopefully you all see my screen. This is specifically Europe Express. Europe Express works in a concept that they only work with travel agents. You can call them and they will do exactly what we are going to do right now on our own. So if you want to talk to someone to have them build a plan for you, you can. If you want to do it yourself, you can do that too. So let's log in. Let me know, just you can see my screen with the Europe Express, just to double check. Yeah, okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, so here I'm going to create, for example, a multi-city. We have a client, we're going to start simple, but it can be as difficult as you want it to be. So we're going to do a multi-city, London and Paris. Right, that's going to be let's say the basic one, but you can do it in Italy, you can do it in multiple countries, and we will need air and hotel, we will need sightseeing, and we will need transfers. The departure city for me, let's say it's Newark. Okay, let's see if they will, yeah, Newark, New Jersey. And let's look at the date. I'm going to look at, let's say, May of 2023. The destination. Now, if I'm going to put London as the first destination. Now, the thing is, if I pick London Heathrow here, I'm going to show you what will happen, and then I'm going to fix it because it's actually not the correct way to do it. See all zones, neighborhood, nothing's popping up. And then we're going to do, let's say, 5 nights there. And then we want to move somewhere else, let's say Paris. And as you can see, nothing's popping up. Just because I put the airport code, it just sticks to England and Ireland. And for some reason, I don't know why. But if we switch it to the correct way and we write London, England, we will then start getting more zones and areas of where to stay. Let's say the Kensington area, and here we will actually see more places like France and Paris, which is what I was looking for. So if for some reason you're stuck and you're not getting the second destination that you want, the problem is here at the first destination. I'm not sure why it does that, but it's, yeah, it just does. And we're going to do another 5 nights there. So from the 22nd, we're going to do another 5 nights until the 27th.
Is that just on Europe Express or like most?
Yeah, it's a bug on Europe
platforms?
Express. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we're going to do a similar thing on Vax later, just to show the comparison. But the system knows, as you can see, that you're leaving on the 14th and then the stay begins on the 15th. The system knows that flying from the US to Europe involves a night flight and you'll arrive the following day. So the system takes that into consideration. And then here in Paris, we want central. If you know Paris and you pick the zone of where you want to stay, if it's, let's see, let's do this. Let's do the Eiffel Tower area. And from London to Paris, I actually want to go by rail. And I can pick the time that I want to go. Double, twin, whatever, and click the search. Now, this tool allows you to technically create a really nice, complicated itinerary that includes everything. Flights, transfers from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the rail station later, metro passes, Broadway shows, well, South End shows, private tours, shared tours, and everything, and then create a really nice itinerary with it. I would really watch out here when you're picking flights, because you are going to get some weird options. As you can see here, this flight is from Newark to Istanbul. It arrives 5 p.m. and then continues at 8 in the morning. So you technically have an overnight there. So I would like really watch what they're offering. This is a 6:15 arrival, 7:45 continuing. That's great. This is a 5 p.m. leaving, 6:35 arrival into Reykjavik, continuing at 5 p.m. the next day. So the options that they're going to offer with the cheaper rates are normally going to be terrible. Missed connections. So always double check to see. Personally, I try and go with the direct if possible. As you can see with the one connection, it's, you know, once you start finding the decent flights, you're pretty much at the same price of a direct flight. So yeah, that's ideal. Again, this is from Newark specifically, but you know, JFK or any other place in the world, just double check to see if you're doing a connection that you're picking the right one, because that's also a really big problem here. So we're going to click on next, and the next is going to be hotels. We can sort it out, 3-star, 4-star, price them from low to high. It will say what's available. Highly recommend to understand the concept cozy. In Europe, the hotels are pretty small. Cozy means they're super small. So see what you want to pick. But these are the options that are going to be included in the price. So the price for all the rooms for that we booked, we can take 2 rooms. But let's say we are taking this one, it's classic. It will say if it includes breakfast. Sometimes it will include even more. For the most part in Europe, it tends to include breakfast. So after we took this, we're going to click on next. It will tell us the Eurostar, so the train station, you know, from London to Paris, and the time and how long it takes. This is the 10 a.m. the 12, let's say we'll take this. You can take Standard, Comfort, Premier. As you can see, it's a one-stop shop. Next one is going to be the hotel in Paris. Again, you can do a little bit of research on your own to find the property. I already said that I wanted the Saint-Germain area, or was it Tour the Eiffel? So I kind of know what I want. Now, transfers, you can note also what airport you're landing from. This was Heathrow. So if I want private transfer from Heathrow to the hotel, great. I can just pick it. If I don't want to, I won't do it. I don't think, personally, I wouldn't book it for clients because train is a lot easier, but just for this, let's take it. You can do a chauffeur or whatever, and then to the train station. Again, I wouldn't do this because the subway is pretty good, so there's really no need for this. And then if you're landing at a different airport, you can do that too. The next one is going to be from Paris, from the Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport to Central Paris Hotel, and note the time. Again, I probably wouldn't do that, but if you have clients that really want it, we can. And more options here. Here we're back to London, and you have options here. You can switch from London to Paris. You can pick what you want. There was a full day, half day. If you're looking for private tour, sometimes we'll show here. I'm not seeing it here, but it doesn't matter. If you want the hop and off bus, all you need to do is just pick the date. You don't have to book everything. This can serve as a proposal for a client for them to see all the options that you have. Okay, I'm removing the private here because we're going to get less options. So we're going to do the hop and off. You can do it for 2 days if you want. You can buy the London Pass or the museum. You can do the London Eye. Again, I'm just rushing it through, and then they love Harry Potter, so we're going to do that on the 18th. And then they want to see a show. They want to see the Lion King on the 19th. And this is a shared tour of Paddington Bear tour. That's available on the 20th, and that's it for now. But we can do the Tower of London. We can do whatever we want. And then we've actually moved to Paris now. We can do, again, hop and off because they wanted to. We can get the museum pass for 2 days or for 4 days starting on, well, we'll do 2 days starting on the 23rd. We can get metro tickets too. I'm not sure where they are, but I know we can get metro tickets. So the metro pass, depending on where you want to go. Let's say we want a 3-day zone 1 to 5 starting on day 23rd. Okay, and then we're going to do a Normandy tour and so on, right? Through the Eiffel, whatever you want to book, there are tons of options here. So you can, and I'll show you how it looks at the end, and also the pricing. That would be a very easy tool with so many options. You will need to do your own research if you don't know the product. But yeah, I would say it's the same for everywhere. This is the price that I came up with for all the tours. I will normally add more and more tours just to give client options, and then we can just pick and choose. Why we can pick and choose? Because I get a pricing for each and every one, every line item here. So I can, if I want, just remove any of them. Okay, and then the flights, it's automatically going on paper document fee. They're going to send out the documents. It's going to print out nice, but if you don't want it, you can just switch to electronic. It probably won't accept it right now, but it will at the end. Again, another bug, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it still appears here, but don't worry. Once you say save itinerary, it will save it with the electronic because we clicked on it. When we book it, it takes a little while. It takes like 20 minutes to create the itinerary, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to show you something that I did like an hour ago, just to show you how it looks. But again, if you want here, you can mark it up. You get a client copy that has no prices. You get an itinerary that has all these options, and you get an invoice as an agent copy with all the commissions. Again, these are the dates that we picked. Don't worry, you can do double booking, so you can give them two options. On the 15th, you can do a private and the hopping off and this, and there's so many things that you can do if you wanted to. I'll go to my account and click on view reservations. Again, I did something similar before that I tested out. Once it's created, you can click on print invoice and documents, and you can see again an advisor invoice or client invoice or itinerary. Let me share that. Let me see. Sorry, just looking for that screen. Okay, so well, you can see my screen. You can see the PDF.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Europe party that I did. Again, it's slightly different than the one I did before because I just played with it. But you can have the flights, the private transfer, the hotel that I picked in London, for the amount of nights, the tours with descriptions, and the shared Harry Potter one, and everything is just showing up here. This is what I picked for the client. The invoice, this also goes to the client so they can see the flights and everything that is included, and they get one amount with a deposit, and whenever is due at the end, you as an agent get an invoice that breaks down each and every line item. And you can remove or take off or whatever, again, or add more things to it. Okay, but it's fairly simple here. Now, the advantage here, as I've mentioned, it's a one-stop shop for the flights, the hotel, the transfers, the tours, the rail, Metro Pass tickets. Everything is located here. What's the disadvantage? The price. This is most likely an overpriced package. If you would go and price the flights separately and the hotel separately and the private transfer and the metro tickets and the theater and the rail and everything, and you piece it yourself, like, you know, one piece at a time, you will come up to a cheaper option, but you will be working a lot harder. So it really depends on you, if that's the way you want to go. My recommendation would be to go with Europe Express for as an example on one or two trips. Once you understand how it works and you feel comfortable, start breaking down the package and booking things on your own, like going to Rail Europe and booking the rail directly, booking some of the tours directly, maybe Viator, Expedia, Beds Online, TBO, and then start breaking it down. It's going to be more complicated for you, but ultimately you can make more money and it's going to be cheaper. But at first, this is not a bad product at all for a person who is a beginner in building FIT. Any questions? Did anyone try it? Michelle, I know you've mentioned you tried Europe Express before. Did you build it your own like this?
I ended up doing it with Avanti, not with Europe Express, but I have used Europe Express for other components. In my situation, when I presented the proposal to the client, you know, like when we're going back and forth, like to get the price closer to where they felt more comfortable, I did end up like you said, going to like TBO holidays to either finding that same hotel and or similar there. So I was able to still keep them within their budget, but they felt more comfortable because I guess they felt like they were getting exactly what they wanted. So
So
like in
yeah,
the end it was a win-win, but I did like the proposal that like Avanti and Europe Express originally like produces, because it saved me time from having to try to pull it all together to make it look really professional.
right. If you have an itinerary builder system like Access, like Travefy, like all of these itinerary builders, you can certainly build it yourself, and you can probably make it even nicer than this one, but this is automatically created for you. As you can see again with the price, I normally don't do a breakdown for clients, but I know some clients want to. You can kind of give them an idea of how much it is. Don't really break down each and every line item because, as I said, it's slightly overpriced. But if you want to remove the hotels and then price this one separately, same for the other hotel in Paris, then go ahead and break it down, and you can do flights and tours only. Or rail or whatever you want here. As you can see with the rail, for example, I think they charge, they charge a ticketing fee. So there's a fee on this service. It's just you decide if that's something that you want to. And with Avanti is similar with the Europe Express option where you can call it in. So Avanti doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, they don't have a tool where you can build it yourself. You have to call it in.
No, you can.
You
can
can?
build
They have
it.
a tool like this?
Yeah, you can build it
Okay,
online.
perfect. So,
And I think what I've just also told my clients is like because sometimes they're going to be like, oh, if I can just like pull it together and get it for less, I just let them know that part of like what's built in the price is like that on the ground support. So I've been using that like as part of the selling point as to maybe why they would want to stay with that tour
right.
partner
When
versus piecemeal.
when you're booking with one supplier, if the flight is delayed, they need to let the driver know that it's delayed, and then everything is delayed, and maybe the tour and something changes with the hotel. They need to know that the shared tours, they're picking you up from that. When everything is in one place, it's going to be a lot easier for you as the agent, and ultimately for the client. There's less problems that could go wrong with something like this. Again, just so you will know, there on the service, there's a fee, right? It's marked up a little bit, not by too much. It's not crazy high, but there's in a $15,000 here, 15,300. There's probably a few $100s that are marked up in there, so you can get commission, because no one gives commission on metro tickets or stuff like that. So everything is just marked up so you can get the commission. So if you decide that you want to build this on your own, you can break down to, again, really all the components. So you can go to United or American and book the flight separately. You can go and book the hotels directly. We talked a little bit before regarding signature or a consortia. Some resorts, some hotels will have perks that are only available if you book direct through the consortia. And by the way, our next session is about the consortia, so make sure to go and register. The signature session is the next one, and we're going to talk about perks with hotels, with cruises too, but specifically for our situation, hotels. So if you would like to take advantage of your consortia perks, whether you're with Signature, Ensemble, or Travel Leaders, and what's the last one? The luxury one, or it's supposed to be luxury.
Virtuoso.
Yes, sorry, but it slipped my mind. So with Virtuoso, they're all the same concept. So So we're going to talk on that as well, but you want to book that direct to qualify for the perks. So again, you can go and custom and build it your own, and then you build your own itinerary. Another option, if you want, you can go to something like on Vax. You can go, if you know the flights are going to be with United, Delta, American, you can go to Delta Vacation, you can go to American Airlines Vacation, or United Vacations. I'm going to do a quick run on Vax just to show how you can do a multi-destination Europe trip if you haven't played with it before. So let's do that. Too many windows open. Okay. So this is the Vax, right? We're going to do FunJet specifically, but we can do United Vacations as well. We'll do multiple destination, and I picked multi-Europe, multi-stop, right? You can do this in South Pacific. You can do this in Costa Rica. So again, depending on the destination of where is it that you're going right now, we're kind of focusing on Europe, but just so you'll know, this exists to many other places as well. I'm going to do a similar plan where it's May 17th for 5 nights. We're going to go to London. Here, there's no real issue. If you pick Heathrow or London, it's not going to cause any problem. I need a hotel for London. I don't need a rental car. If the destination requires a rental car, you can tag this. And then I'm going to pick a second destination. We're going to do 6 nights in Paris. I won't need a hotel. I actually don't need a flight. I don't want to fly from London to Paris. I am going to take the rail. There is no option to book rail on Vax, so that was going to be separate. But if you want to, or if you want to include a flight between the 2 destinations, or if you're renting a car, you can do that. If you are planning a destination that doesn't even need, you can do, I'll show later if there's any requests for it to do like a pre or post cruise. Does anyone is interested to see how we can do like a pre or a post cruise here?
I am.
No? Okay. So I'm gonna just show it how it's going to work. So let's say, for example, the cruise is starting from London, right? Southampton. The clients are arriving 3 days before, and they want to fly back after the cruise. You can do 2 nights in London. We're leaving on the 17th. We're arriving on the 18th. The cruise starts on the 20th. So I only need the 2 nights. And then my next destination, they're going to fly back from London anyway. So I'm going to do again, the second destination is London. We're going to do 7 nights because that's the length of the cruise. And I don't need a hotel. And if you want to do a post, and I'll explain it again, just to double check that you guys get it. We're going to do 2 nights. I don't need a flight, and I don't need a rental car. So what I did here, I have a flight going to London on the 17th. It's arriving on the 18th to London. I'm booking 2 nights, and I need a hotel. From the 20th to the 27th, I have London as a destination for 7 nights because that's my cruise. I don't need a hotel or a rental car. So it will technically just ignore this because this is our cruise. And then post-cruise, assuming I wanted to, I'm going to be back on the 27th from my cruise, and I want 2 nights. And then at the end, after the 2 nights, on the 29th, I will be flying back home. Okay, so that's a post. You can do a post or a pre-cruise option. Any question about this? No. But let's go back to the other one. So we're going to do 5 nights in London, 5 nights in Paris. And I don't need a flight, we said. I do need a hotel. I'm removing this destination because I want to fly back from Paris. Let's just double check. 17th of May, 5 nights, need a hotel, going to Paris, need a hotel, and I'm going to fly back from Paris after 5 nights. And I just click on search. So what it will do, it will give me an option for flights and a hotel. Some destinations will have features where you can book tours. These won't. They just won't. They will have some transfers, and you can add insurance on this one. But again, this would work on other destinations. If you're planning a Costa Rica trip, you're starting from San Jose, you're ending in Liberia, you want to have a car rental, you can play with this as much as you want here as well. You know, we can pick nonstop or one stop. You know, pick the options. So we have the flight and then the flight back. And then it automatically picks the hotel. I'm not sure why they do that, but they already picked the hotel for you if you want to change the hotels. And of course you do. You click on hotels. It will give you a list of the hotels, and then you can pick from there. You can sort it out, 4-star, 5-star, you know, specific things of chains, or if you know the hotel name, but let's pick this one. The price that you see here is the price for everything, for the entire package. Okay. Also, an advantage of doing this and not booking it separately is the booking administration, right? We can click here and we can mark it up as much as we want. Okay, it's a one pricing. You don't have to charge the client. They don't need to transfer you any money. You can just mark it up. Note that when you mark up with FunJet and the suppliers, they will take 10% of the markup. So the original was $721. I added $250. They will add $225. They take 25. They take 10% of how much you added, but they allow you to set the commission, and it looks as seamless to the client. All you need to do is just send them an email and a printed itinerary. Sorry, I got a dog here. And then you can just send it to the clients or check out. You can email printed itinerary, and have all the information here. Okay, so again, you can build this on your own, and then add tours. Again, here with the features, I believe insurance and transfers are the only thing here. So travel insurance, we can add it, transfers, and yeah, that's it. Not sure why, but that's how it works. You can book, you can do search and do features only, but you can't build it within the package. It's not as sophisticated. Yeah, gives you that option. And I would say the most advanced, or if you want to do this other things, then it would be booking your flights separately, booking your hotel, booking your tours, and there are many options to do that. We've mentioned TBO holidays, we've mentioned beds online, you can use Expedia Tap, you can use all of these that I've mentioned for tours, Viator, Project Expedition, book a limo for the transfer. There's so many suppliers out there that you can utilize and build your own. Again, it will be a more complicated option. So I wouldn't start with that. If that's your first go, I wouldn't do that. But as you feel more comfortable with the destination and know exactly what to recommend, then I would incorporate that and start taking a few things from the Europe Express until you build it completely on your own, or not. Again, it's your choice, right? They come to you, you can, if they're willing to pay that amount, then it's going to make your life a lot easier. Any questions? Other suppliers like the escorted tours that we talked about have plans for drive and go or pack and go, stuff like that, where you it's a rental car that is included, and the hotels, you will see it in some places like Italy, Costa Rica, and other places where you just get a rental car, and the hotels, someone might meet you at the airport with like something like Monogram. I don't know if you know the product, but Monogram is pretty much like that. Someone meets you at the airport, gives you all the documents, gives you the keys to the car, directions to how to get to the hotel, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes they will meet you if it's like a train station later. So there's some things that you can do which are like hybrids. They're semi-escorted or between private and custom FIT. So there's a lot of products like that out there in the market. Again, Google Monogram, see what they do. It's an interesting product.
Do you use them much? Monograms?
I've used them before. My clientele seems to be more self-sufficient. They can manage without paying for a person to be at the airport to give them the documents. It's just with every product is different, and it depends on your client. If you feel that your clients need that hand holding, it's a good product. We've used it a couple of times. It's a good product. It just they tend to be expensive.
Yeah, I've tried to use them a couple of times, but they have limited destinations that they support. But now that I know that they do even more hand holding than I initially thought, that may explain.
Yeah, it depends, but yeah, normally they will meet you at the airport, they will meet you at the train station, they might even meet you at the hotel. It depends on the areas, but they will have a local person giving you all the the tips and whatever. So it's a nice feature. It's between if it's people who want private but can't afford it, but they're not looking for a completely shared with so many people. So it's kind of like a mix in between. Again, you can utilize the suppliers like Avanti, like Europe Express, like all of that, to talk to them and get some information so they can recommend to you what product to sell, which hotel to use. Most of them do FAMs and they visited the properties. It's going to be a lot easier for you as a beginner to do this. And once you already know the product and know the hotel and know the destination, and Google is your friend, Google, specifically Paris and London that we talked about, Google the location of the hotel. There is a sign for like an M for the metro station or the tubes. Just go and see if it's a walking. Don't be afraid to use destinations like get directions from the hotel to the tube. You can change it by walking, so you can see how far it is to actually get to the tube. Don't trust the hotel that says it's 7-minute walk, because could be a 7-minute hike, and multiple stairs. So use Google to see the distance from the hotel to the station. Use it from the hotel to the Louvre in public transportation. It will show you how many metro stops. And again, use Google. Use Google a lot. It will at the beginning for your first 5 bookings, the more information you can provide to your clients. You're going to talk to them and you're going to tell them, look, this hotel is 5-minute walk, or you take the 1, you switch to the 5, or you take this, and then from that metro station it's 2 minutes walk to. It's going to make everything a lot easier. You can look at restaurants. You can look at the hotel, click nearby and click restaurants. It will show you the restaurants around this hotel. So that's like I would say a tip for anywhere around the world that you're selling that is not like an all-inclusive, but use Google for that. and you can get a lot of information when you talk to your clients and explain to them that there's like 10-20 restaurants within walking distance, and the metro stations are close, and this and that. They will feel comfortable with what you're offering. You are going to sound a lot more professional, and you know what you're talking about because you did the research. So definitely use Google if you don't know if the Radisson Blu Hampshire Hotel is a good property or not. So go and Google. You want to read some reviews, you can, but it's, you know, if you're picking good brands, and if you're picking good brands and a good location, you won't have a problem. Okay. Any questions about how to approach custom FIT? What's the next step? Do you feel comfortable going and playing with it a little bit to see if now a person says, we want 4 islands in Italy, 4 islands in Greece. You can do that. You can book the ferries. You can book the tours, the wine tours, see what the destination has to offer in terms of tours, the flights, everything in one place. You just got to play with it, right? The world is out there. There's so many options. This gives you a nice tool to play with it and hopefully feel more comfortable gathering everything together in one place to send them a nice itinerary, a nice proposal. And again, you don't have to know or been to the destination. And you can also call the supplier to get some recommendation. Use the Facebook groups, post them. I'm looking at the Radisson Blu Edwardian Hampshire Hotel. Looks like a decent location. Has anyone stayed there? Send clients. What do you think? Better than what's the best hotel in London to book, right? No one likes that, and you're not going to get any answers. So narrow down some of the options. You wanna email me. You wanna ask on Facebook, on travel agent groups, if people have experience with it. I tend to use a lot of the American brands in Europe. So the Hiltons, the Marriott, the Sheraton, you know, all of that, they tend to be good. The Holiday Inns are decently good in Europe and not too expensive. And there's also a lot of local hotels as well. Again, depending on what the clients want. I am weary about boutique small hotels with, you know, 15, 20 rooms. It's too much of a hit and miss. It does have the charm, but it normally doesn't have an elevator, it doesn't have an AC, and there's a lot of things that they don't have. So I rather book the bigger hotels, the well-known brands, and again, it's just how comfortable you feel with the destination. And again, that's Europe. You can take that same thing and put it like in Asia or Costa Rica or in many other places that other suppliers sell, because Europe Express doesn't do Costa Rica. But again, it was just an example. Avanti does more destinations, right, Michelle?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So yeah, you can do that. And then there's other, like GoGo Worldwide. There's a lot of other suppliers that will help you do custom tours. But this is a nice entry to play with it your own. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.